welcome to another great week on the Jet Set. We're sitting down with Michelle Fishburne from whowearenow.us to talk about what she decided to do during the pandemic.
And I'm taking you south of the border to explore Loreto, Mexico.
That sounds wonderful. And I've got your weekly travel inspiration coming up. You're watching the Jet Set.
Welcome aboard. Are you ready to go? Bobby Laurie and Nikki Noya have your ticket to travel, food, fitness, and everything you need for an on-the-go lifestyle. It's time to Jet Set.
It's time for our first dose of travel news on Here's This, powered by TravelPulse.com. Canada has once again stiffened its requirements for people entering the country by adding a negative COVID-19 test requirement. Now, according to the Associated Press, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau revealed that all non-essential travelers arriving in Canada by land would be required to show proof of a negative PCR-based coronavirus test. Canadians returning to their home country without the proper COVID-19 test will face fines of up to a random number of $2,370, as well as rigorous follow-ups by the health officials. And the order also applies to residents of Canada who reside in the United States part-time. Now, the land border will remain closed to non-essential, non-Canadian travelers.
Here's my question.
Okay.
I always have questions.
Okay.
Because a lot of people live in the US but work in Canada right over the border, or the other way around. So what are they doing? And it's just difficult because the rules keep changing. Really, by now it's like on a weekly basis.
I know.
How can you even keep up?
Well, at this point, it sounds like if your job is non-essential or considered non-essential, then you're not going across the border to work. Hopefully, you're working from home at that point. If you're non-essential, you'd hope so.
How are my Canadians doing up there?
I don't know. Well, I mean, they were suppressing it a lot better than we were for a long period of time.
Well, everyone was.
I mean, that's true story. I don't know. I think it's interesting. Now, Canada's also already said that they're not going to send, cruise ships cannot go to Canada through February of 2022.
We're just waving as we go by.
So I don't know. I mean, it's interesting because we were discussing about going to like Toronto or going to Niagara Falls. Like you can't do that. You can go to the U.S. side of it.
Yeah.
But the Canadian side's prettier.
Well, if Justin Trudeau says it, then it's right.
Okay. Well, since Justin said it, we're just going to consider it law and we're going to move on. A new app could open the way to bringing back international travel. Common Pass is a digital health pass launched by the World Economic Forum and the Commons Project Foundation, a Swiss-based nonprofit organization that builds digital services for the common good. And it's hard to find anything but the good in reopening international travel. Now, Common Pass is going to be a simple app that's going to be a solution for travelers and border officials to bring back travel in a safe and secure way by keeping your information safely and securely. And it will also include test results so you can show it. So maybe Justin's listening and Nikki can go to Canada if she uses this app. Maybe.
But this is what we need right now, because especially if we're starting to travel internationally, every country has their own rules and their own things that they need you to have. So, I might even download an app. And this might be the app for me.
Listen how easy this is. Travelers who arrive at the airport will check into their flights. Then you go to the testing facility and you scan your Common Pass. They then just scan the barcode that shows up on the screen. Then negative test results are then stored in the app, which is then scanned and displayed during boarding. So it's just basically you're showing everyone along the way.
Going like this.
I'm cleared to go.
Let me on. Let me on.
That's going to be you without the app later.
True.
Just to get on a plane.
Can't you just see me just walking by like this?
I'm cleared.
Ready to go. I'm clear. Ready to go.
I'm negative. I mean, would you jump through the hurdles now to get on a plane? Like, obviously we can't go to Canada. Justin won't let you there.
I'm just waving by.
Justin said no to Nikki. But like, would you go and get the test and do all that and get the app download technology to go somewhere?
Well, think about this. Let's say if I'm traveling to Southeast Asia next year,
okay,
and I have to pass through Dubai, and I can just easy.
I don't think that works with everything else in life, though.
But that's how I do it, so.
That's how Nikki does a lot of things. We'll be right back in 30 seconds with more insights into Nikki's life.
Let me pass. Bobby, we have a special treat for this week's IFE update. We're talking about the new movie Breaking News in Yuba County. After her husband goes missing, Sue Buttons, an underappreciated suburban wife played by Allison Janney, gets a taste of being a local celebrity as she embarks on a citywide search in Yuba County to find him. In an effort to prolong her newfound fame, she stumbles into hilarious hijinks as the world turns upside down. And joining us now to discuss it is Allison Janney. Allison, thank you so much for being here. It is such a pleasure to speak with you. Tell me a little bit about the role of Sue Buttons in breaking news.
Sue Buttons is a woman who has been ignored. She's I would say she's the quintessential invisible woman, and she has a need to be seen, heard, loved, validated, and she goes after that need.
Tell me a little more about the other characters and the other women of Yuba County.
The women of Yuba County are all very unique women, all driven, all needing something. They all have fierce needs, and they are powerful women, and they go after what they want and what they need, and they're formidable women.
The on-screen connection you all share is amazing. Why do you think you all work so well together?
I think the fact that we all lived together doing this movie at Tate's house and the houses around him, they were all within walking distance of each other. We formed this chemistry and love for each other off camera that carried through on camera, with the chemistry and comfortability we had with each other, and the sense of play that we had that Tate cultivates, and just gives us freedom to play on camera and off.
Well, Allison, I can't wait to see the movie. I've been a fan of yours for a really long time, and I'm excited to see you take the lead role in this movie. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Michelle Fishburne from whowearenow.us is joining us after a quick break. You don't want to miss it. In recent years, genetic testing has been used as a way to help detect predispositions for certain health risks, including diabetes, high blood pressure, and celiac disease. Joining us now to tell us firsthand how genetic health information can help people make positive changes to their life is genetic trends expert Juliana Cintron and 23andMe customer Mark Levicott. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
So Mark, let's start with you. What can you share about your health journey and your decision to pursue genetic testing?
Well, for me, it started just being interested in my ancestry and where I came from. I decided to on a whim, take a look at the health portion of genetic testing as well. While I was doing this, I had been battling some pretty severe stomach issues and headaches, and in and out of the doctor for 6 to 8 months, not realizing really what was going on. Got my 23andMe results back, and I was going through them one afternoon, and I saw that I had a genetic variant that was common for people with celiac disease, which is a gluten intolerance. Took this to my doctor. They took it very seriously and did all these tests, and lo and behold, I was diagnosed with celiac disease, and that just meant I needed to change my diet. And from there, I was able to make some really positive changes in my health. So it's really benefited me a lot.
Mark mentioned celiac disease earlier. What other predispositions for diseases and health ailments can be identified via genetic testing?
Yeah, so through 23andMe, our health predisposition reports can give you information on how your genetics can influence your health. Things like type 2 diabetes, kidney stones, high blood pressure, all powered by 23andMe research. If you're thinking of starting a family, you can find out if you're a carrier for certain genetic variants that you can pass on to your future children. Our wellness reports can tell you how your genetics can relate to your lifestyle. So things like lactose intolerance and caffeine consumption, and even your physical traits, how your DNA can influence that. Things like your hair color, your eye color, and even if you prefer salty versus sweet food.
Where can we go and get more information?
So they can visit our website at 23andme.com.
Thank you both for joining us today. Our next guest took the craziness that the last year has thrown at us and turned it into something inspiring. Michelle Fishburne is the founder of Who We Are Now, a national oral history of Americans during the COVID-19 pandemic. Michelle has been traveling the U.S. in her motorhome, interviewing people from all walks of life, all backgrounds, about how they have been making their way through this historic time in our human history. Michelle, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bobby. Thank you for having me on.
Of course. Now we have to get right into the meat of this. How did the pandemic affect you, and what gave you the idea to do this?
At the beginning of January 2020, I had a fabulous job. I was getting on planes all the time, going all over the country, meeting people to set up national events for the nonprofit and the foundation I was working for. But then when COVID hit, we couldn't do any of those. And so the foundation and the nonprofit downsized, and I didn't have a job. And so then come the middle of July, I am sitting in a parking lot in Target. I don't have a job, even though I submitted 86 customized cover letters. My youngest is going to college, and the movers are coming to take the stuff out of my post-divorce house that I was leasing on July 31st. What the heck am I going to do? I have no house. I have nobody to take care of. I have no job. But what I did have was a motorhome that I bought in 2006 and a lot of curiosity about how everybody's doing out there.
I mean, let's talk about the fact that you applied to 86 different jobs and you didn't get one of them. On top of everything else in 2020 and the pandemic, I would get in the motorhome and hit the road too.
I know. Michelle, you are so inspiring. Okay, let's talk about how far have you traveled?
Since September, I've traveled 8,000 miles all across this country, and I've interviewed 250 plus people from 32 states for my project, Who We Are Now, which is basically a mosaic of the American experience during the pandemic. Now, the press is doing a great job covering doctors and nurses and patients, but what about yoga instructors? What about the waitresses? What about I don't know. I mean, there's so many different jobs out there that have been everybody has a story.
Is that how you decided who to interview?
So Facebook, we all love Facebook and we all hate Facebook, but Facebook has been my savior in this because as I go to towns, I look on Facebook to see what the stories are about that town. Like that's how I found Caleb, who had started a mobile axe throwing business during the pandemic in Valdosta, Georgia. So he started off as a mobile unit, which is perfect because it's outside and you have to socially distance when you throw an axe. And he said that during the summer there were a lot of moms who with a lot of
I get that. I understand that.
We're happy Nikki doesn't have an axe.
But it really shows. It really, you've probably just seen American ingenuity and our resourcefulness and our integrity through so many people that you've met. Is there a story that really just stands out to you?
Oh, there's so many. Like when I hit the road, I thought I was going to see people feeling despondent and down. I've seen the opposite. Even the people who should be like me, like 86 cover letters, you still don't have a job. And I'm laughing, I'm smiling. Well, I'm actually indicative of a lot of people out there. And so what I'm finding is people are just making the best of it.
Yeah.
But so let's see, there's so many stories to tell. But one of my favorites is from Raton, New Mexico. Okay. During the shutdown, during the lockdown, their downtown was really suffering because they're on the way to Philmont. So there's a train station where all the Boy Scouts and their leaders and stuff, they stop off at the Boy Scout Museum on their way to Philmont. That's a huge time of the year for them. And they also have balloon festivals and stuff. They couldn't do any of that. So during the shutdown, these downtown businesses were about to go out of business. So a bunch of women put together Facebook Live, basically QVCs. And they'd go into those stores and they'd be like, oh, look, we've got this nice, like mug here or pottery. They did this for 2 hours, twice a week for 12 weeks. They raised more than $40,000 in sales revenues for over 30 businesses so they could pay their rent.
That is amazing. Okay, so you got all these amazing stories. What are you doing with them? What are your plans for them?
So they're on a website right now, 100 of them. There's a lot to put on there still, but I try to upload 3 or 4 a week. 100 of them so far on whowearenow.us. They're also shared out on my social media channels, Who We Are Now USA. And I am working with a university press on a book, and I've got some stories that I've got to get to my editor by the end of the month.
Oh, Michelle, thank you so much for joining us. This is such a this is good news.
It
I
is
like
good
hearing
news.
about good news and about people doing awesome things, and you are amazing. Your energy is just absolutely wonderful. Where can our viewers go to find more information about all your travels?
Just go to whowearenow.us. It's pretty simple, whowearenow.us. And then social media's Who We Are Now USA.
Do us a favor and check in with us every once in a while, too.
Yes, please do.
I would be happy to. That's a lot of fun. I would love to do that.
Good.
Thank
Thanks,
you
Michelle.
so much, Michelle.
Okay, bye-bye, guys.
We have to take a quick break, but we are heading out to Loreto, Mexico right after a quick break. Don't go anywhere. She's jealous.
I am, and was, and still will be.
At the
American Airlines recently launched service from Dallas and Phoenix to Loreto, Mexico, expanding service to an amazing destination. We were lucky enough to be on the first flight from Phoenix and had the chance to explore this beautiful place. Take a look. Located on Mexico's Baja California Peninsula, Loreto is an oasis surrounded by one of the most impressive mountain ranges on one side and the star attraction on the other, the water. We climbed aboard the Belgato, an ABT sailing catamaran, to meet with Norma Garcia to get a little more insight about the area. So Norma, you are the president of the Hotel Association?
Yes, I am the president.
So what kind of different hotels can you find in Loreto?
Well, we have like a good range of hotels, but the main core of the hotels in Loreto are small boutique hotels in the historical center of town. We have also the big hotels with golf courses in town, like 40 kilometers from town, and you have a really good variety to choose from.
So at these boutique, smaller hotels, every hotel offers something a little bit different. So that you can find something for every taste.
Absolutely. You can find from the hotels that are kind of family-owned, traditional hotels with a budget rate to the very, boutique and a higher rate, but a wider variety of amenities. The good thing of these hotels in the center of town is that they have, in a range of 4 to 3 blocks, 15 different restaurants that you can manage the whole town as if it was your own resort, but a resort built 350 years ago.
I would like my whole town resort.
Exactly. You can walk to all the hotels. You can walk to the seafront promenade, see the beautiful sunrise, walk to the marina where you can go to the islands or to something like we are doing right now.
I saw the sunrise this morning and there's nothing like it.
Yeah, no, there is, every morning is different. Through the summer, the winter, and spring, you have these every day, like 4 or 5 seconds before the light of the sun comes out, where you have all the pastel colors on the sea. It only lasts a few seconds, but it's incredible.
Spending the day sailing with ABT Sailing and exploring the coastline was an amazing experience. The hospitality of the crew was second to none, and they created an atmosphere unlike any other. Oh, and the fresh ceviche lunch was delicious. The crew navigated the catamaran as close as they could to the small caves that are along the coastline. And on board the Belgato, they had smaller boats and kayaks so we could get a closer look. Wait, did I mention the seafood is straight from the Gulf of California? The crew gave me a lesson in the correct way to shuck clams. Overall, my day on the Gulf is not one I'll soon forget. Inspired by Norma and the breathtaking views throughout the day, I set out to learn more about Loreto, and I met up with Tracy Collingridge to talk about some of the different options Loreto offers to experience this quaint town. Tracy, can you tell me a little bit about where we're standing right now?
We are in Loreto Bay, and Loreto Bay is a master planned community of about 800 homes.
Now, in this community, you've got homes that you can rent, but also homes that are for sale. And especially during the COVID times that we're currently in, some folks that might not be ready to go to a hotel just yet might find exactly what they're looking for renting here. Tell me a little bit about that.
Exactly. So the homes here are generally from 2 to 5 bedroom homes. They're ideal for either a couple, families, multiple families. They're fully equipped. Some homes have their own private swimming pools. And we've actually found since COVID that the demand for renting our homes has gone up immensely because people want to have their own private space, and even the homes with their own private pools have been in a high demand as well.
So can you tell me a little bit about, say, when it's some of the properties that are for sale?
So all of our homes are sold, mostly anyhow, fully furnished, outfitted with everything. So all you have to do is show up with your suitcase.
Okay.
The prices are very reasonable. We're starting in the low 200,000s, all the way up to an incredible beachfront home for under $2 million.
I hope you've enjoyed this trip to Loreto, Mexico. You know, some of the locals were even a little bit worried that their secret was going to get out and the town was going to become more populated and not be so quiet and luxurious. But the good news is they are ready to welcome tourists and travelers. They do have some precautions in place for COVID-19. And with the 2 flights now from Phoenix and Dallas, it's even easier to get here to Loreto.
We've got to take one last break, but I've got your weekly dose of travel inspiration still to come. You don't want to miss it.
I hold
Where are we
on to
going?
this part of the show every week.
Where are we going?
I can never wait for you.
I never know until I'm actually reading.
And it's really even more interesting when the actual go gets cut out from the show, but a joke that we made about it is still the last thing we say before goodbye. Still recovering from 2020 and the winter blues got you down? Well, could you use a workcation? How does Aruba sound? Check this out.
Hi, I'm Stuart Brazel, and I'm a health and wellness expert, and I'm here to tell you about Aruba's One Happy Workation program. So right now we're in winter. We've all got the winter blues going on, and we really need that daily dose of sunlight to set our internal clock and boost our happiness. So why not do a workation in Aruba? It blends work with the vacation, so you get the best of both worlds. And with so much remote learning and remote working going on, this is the ideal place. Work in paradise. It's outside of the hurricane belt. You have average temperatures of 82 degrees. So while you're on your work break, why not go kite surfing, take a dip in the water, go on an incredible hike. There's some amazing fun activities. You can go for up to 90 days, no visa required. There's no application fee for the workation, and the hotels have some really fantastic deals. And all of the latest information is available to you at aruba.com. I really think you're going to enjoy this experience, so take a look.
See you next week, everybody.
That sounds so much fun. Plus the beautiful desert.
I know.
I love it. And you can win a free trip there.
Well, exactly. Well, you'd be experiencing the desert on your free trip.